pleased to be a part of this homecoming, and that's really what it is. Newt Gingrich got his start here, and he still has many roots in this area, and many of you are his friends for many, many years. I have the distinction of being someone who has actually served with Newt Gingrich in Congress, and there are several others who are here in that same capacity. Bob Barr and Matt Collins, all of us had the good fortune of serving in the Congress of the United States with Newt Gingrich as the Speaker. Now, this has been a long and difficult campaign in this primary, and I know that all of you have followed it as I have. But I think we are very fortunate to have someone of Newt Gingrich's character, of his leadership, and of his imagination. Leadership requires not only that you be able to think the big thoughts, which we know he is able to do, but also to be able to take those thoughts and create action out of them. I remember, because I was there, that Newt Gingrich was the leader of the Republican Revolution in the 1994 election. And in case you've forgotten, that was the year that for the first time in 40 years, control of the United States House of Representatives turned over to the Republicans. And Georgia had the distinction of having the Speaker of the House of Representatives as a Republican for the first time in those 40 years be here as a congressman from our state, and that was Newt Gingrich. Now you may recall, for those of you who are old enough to do so, that the 1994 election was sort of surrounded by the contract with America. It was a promise to the American people that if Republicans were placed in control of the House, that major issues would be voted on in the first 100 days of that legislative session. Now, the reason that was important was because for years, decade on top of decade, people were elected to Congress and they were asked about big issues, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, I'm for that." And they could say it with security because they knew that that issue would never come before them for a vote. The reality was that Newt Gingrich not only made the promise, he lived up to the promise. And a real quick story, and I know I'm running out of my time and introduce someone else here. One morning, as we were walking across from my office building in Longworth, across over to the Capitol at about 2 o'clock in the morning for a vote, we were in that first 100 days and we were voting on things. I heard two freshmen talking to each other as they were walking across the street, and they said, "My goodness, I didn't know what I was getting into. I don't see how anybody could stay up here very long with this kind of a schedule." And the reality was that we got every one of those issues voted on in that first 100 days. And all of them but one, and it was a constitutional amendment, all but one passed the House of Representatives under his leadership. Now, I have the good fortune of being able to introduce someone. Newt and I have something in common, and that is that we have great wives as great supporters. And in that regard, I want to say on behalf of my wife, who's on the road herself today visiting schools all over the state, that she has been very, very well received by all of you as she's toured across the state, and I personally thank you for the hospitality you've shown to her. I told you she's going to make a great First Lady, and she has. Newt has the same good fortune to have someone standing by him, an accomplished individual in her own right, an author, a very knowledgeable person who has begun to become a figure on the campaign trail. I know that many of you have seen her, you've heard her, and as I stood in the picture line tonight, I saw many of you having her book autographed as you came through. I am proud to be here this evening. I am proud to be here in Carrollton, and we are so thankful that so many volunteers who have made this campaign possible up to this point are here with us tonight. I want to thank all of you for your support, and I am honored to be able to introduce to you the next First Lady of the United States, Callista Gingrich.
Oh, thank you for that kind introduction and warm welcome. It's great to be in Carrollton this evening. We are so proud of our many volunteers who have been working here